Hello, welcome to Kate's Egg. I am in the combine with Uncle Chris right now because last night Uncle Chris gave me the evening off, and then the first pass the bearing went out, which is not good. So the bearing went out on the right side of the feeder.
The feeder.
We were pushing dirt right there. So Uncle Chris went to town and got the bearing, and now it's all fixed and seems to be working great. Was there anything in the rock trap? My Uncle Chris thinks there's something wrong with the combine because it won't start up, so he's trying to dig something out. We're not sure. He keeps plugging with dirt too and rocks, and with the big headers you never know what's going on. We had all of this durum that wouldn't feed in, but when we went to start it up again after emptying the rock trap, something happened. So I'm going to go down and see what's going on. What do you do to see what's going on?
You have to drop the plate.
Hi, Grandpa. Something's wrong with the draper. It won't feed. Or it won't even go on, actually. Now I'm with Dad in his combine. What do you think happened to the other one?
The bearing went out of the center draper.
And we're also getting rained out.
Yes,
So that's a typical day of harvest.
it is.
So it's really starting to rain. We're definitely rained out. Probably for the rest of the day, right?
Yep. Where do you get wipers like this? You just don't go anywhere.
Yeah, they are big wipers. So we've had our fair share of problems this harvest.
Well, in the last couple days. But your combine didn't take that long.
No, the bearing was changed this morning. We thought my dad roaded the other combine up so we could just switch headers and then switch them back once we got the bearing in, but it all seems to be going good. Yeah, yes, that is very correct. So now we can't just take the header off and put it on the other combine.
No.
Because the header's the problem. That's what we're short of, is the straight cutting headers. How did it go with the John Deere mechanic yesterday?
We know what doesn't fix it.
Well, that's always a good start. You know what doesn't fix it.
If this was, good stuff to cut for the combine, except for the soft line part of it.
There was a little bit of it affected by softfly, but not nearly as much. It doesn't even compare to the spring wheat field.
Yeah, not to the last one anyway.
Do you think it's getting good bushels per acre?
It's decent.
Decent.
Yes. Not knowing exactly what it's getting. Even if I knew, it wouldn't make it any better.
Yeah, knowing doesn't make it better. It just gives you the knowledge,
Right.
the information.
The reason to go home and cry.
The reason to go home and cry, my dad said. I'm in a million layers because it is very, very cold out. Now my dad is emptying in the grain cart because we don't want to keep grain in our tanks and have it get super wet.
Correct.
We're just roading back to where we're going to park the combine for the rainy day. Also, durum doesn't cut very well when it's wet.
Doesn't cut dry very well with an auger header either.
Oh, and see, we have belt headers, so I haven't experienced cutting durum with an auger header. But an auger header is what my 9610 had. Well, it looks like we got rained out, Grandpa.
What's the matter? You're just tired, you don't want to cut more.
So where was the first place you started farming, across the road?
Right across the road from this field here. Can't see that field. Oh, give him an idea?
Yes.
Oh. Well, he put me on a tractor, and it was an old tractor with 2 speeds ahead and 1 in reverse. And I was one way and tipping the soil over. And then when I got home, my aunt hollered at him for letting me drive a tractor. I drove one ever since then, but I don't drive no more. I'm too old.
No, you're not.
I think it's going to rain. These guys are going to get wet,
Yeah. My header broke and we got rained out right before lunch, but we only got a little bit of rain, so not enough to keep us out for the entire day. If this was swathed, we wouldn't be able to go again, but because this crop is standing, it isn't too wet. And also, an update on my combine, we did get it working again. My Uncle Chris and Dad took the plate off from underneath the header and drove over it with their truck to kind of flatten it out and then put it back on, which seems to have worked, which is super good. There wasn't a bearing out. We don't know what happened. Needed to be taken off and put back on. There was probably too much dirt that was run through the machine this morning. I am getting ready to do a dump on the go. The reason we wanted to make sure we got back in the fields today is because we're supposed to get a rain at 4:30, and it will probably be enough rain to stop us for a day. So we really want to make sure we get as much of this crop in the bins as we can. I keep getting a grain tank full notification. My Uncle Chris is driving grain cart because our grain cart driver wanted the afternoon off. You can definitely see the weather coming in. We are for sure going to get rain. We just don't know how much of it. We probably need another 2 days to finish off the Durum. And my header is working great now, so that's really good. It is so cold outside. I guess we're doing a stop then. My Uncle Chris pulled up to the wheat swath in front and just lined up, so when I got there I could unload. I'm shutting off the grain now and putting my auger back in. I have to idle my machine down because I turned off the back and the head. Then I'm going to turn on the back, the header, rabbit speed, drop my header to the ground by pressing the button 2, which sets it to the height I was cutting at, and then I start combining again. I really enjoy cutting the Durum. It's windy and you can tell in the crops. This particular area of the field has a little bit of sawfly damage, so that's not very good that we have to wait longer to harvest it if we do get rain. But we will be back in the fields as soon as it's dry. It's really important because this is the only day a farmer gets paid. You have to pay for your seed you put in the ground, your fertilizer, and your equipment and everything on a farm. And then there's one day when you get to harvest all your crops and be able to pay your bills. So it's really important you're as efficient as possible and don't leave these crops out in the field, because the longer you leave it in the field, you have a higher probability of not being able to harvest those crops. I am using the heater in my combine today. I am very happy it has one. I also enjoy the air conditioning sometimes. This crop is yielding well and just doing overall really great for the drought we've had and the circumstances in which we're harvesting. I'm headed south right now. It's about a mile long, and then the width just keeps getting shorter, and then it's a mile back. It's quite a ways. I can't even see the end of the field right now where I am. Montana fields are really, really big. I'm always super careful down hills because the combine likes to go a little bit faster. I'm going 3.2 miles an hour, so that's already pretty fast, and my combine is not running at capacity, but when you run at a faster speed, everything is going by faster. So you want to make sure you're looking out both sides of your window to see how high you're cutting. A lot of times you'll be cutting really high on one side and then way too low on another side and almost digging up the dirt. So you have to be really careful of that, and it feels like when you go fast, even a couple tenths of a mile an hour faster, it makes the world of difference when you're trying to think fast when something's going on. So I like to give myself that second to react to what's happening, which is a little bit of a loss of efficiency, but it's worth it to me because that's how I keep my combine running. I really pay attention and I watch what's going on, and I try and give myself a little bit of room for error if I need it. Sky's getting really blue, so I think the storm is coming in soon. It is 3:30 right now, so the storm is supposed to be here at 4:30, which see my dad's grain tank's getting really full. He's all the way down there. Looks like stormy weather. The little dot in the distance is my dad. My grain tank is getting close to full, but it's not full yet. Trying to keep a straight line here. It's crazy because I've gotten to see a lot of stormy weather from the combine this year, as well as a lot of fires. I can't believe that I saw flames from the combine this harvest. It's unbelievable, and I'm actually cutting pretty fast right now. I'm going 3.6. I see my Uncle Chris in the grain cart on the other side there. He'll have to come and get me next, actually, because I'm filling up. The weather seems to be moving in quickly. I just hope we're able to finish this strip. It looks like we're going to be able to. I'm going through a little coulee here, so I have to lift my header, and then put it back down. I was going a little fast into that, but it all worked out. I didn't push any dirt. Pushing dirt's when the teeth of your header, the parts that move back and forth, they're actually called sickle sections, but I think they look like combine teeth. They move back and forth like this, and if you put your header down too low, they'll dig into the dirt. The green part of the auger that you see moving back and forth on the top is not for durum or wheat straight cutting. It is for peas. Specifically, we have them for chickpeas because usually chickpeas don't want to go straight into your header and they don't flow in like our other crops, so you need that extra auger there to make sure it goes through the combine. Chickpeas kind of want to try and climb the header. There are a lot of hawks in this field, and I'm just so happy with all of the animals we have seen at harvest. It really is just the best when you get to see an animal in the field because it brightens your day, and I love watching them. I've seen lots of birds, lots of hawks. I have seen lots of antelope, and so many baby deer. It's incredible. My favorite part is probably the baby deer. I've also seen a porcupine and 2 coyotes. It's been interesting for harvest what I've seen for wildlife. I will be unloading in the grain cart soon. My dad is unloading right now. My Uncle Chris is doing all grain cart dumps stopped. It's better to stop than make a mistake and break equipment, so that makes a lot of sense. I am now headed down quite a big hill and then back up a big hill. So it's a draw in the field. Oh, I see some sort of bird. Oh, that's adorable. Yesterday, I saw a hawk outside this side of my combine window, and he had something in his hands and dropped it and then dove down to get it and then actually retrieved it again. It was so cool to watch. It's like watching a movie out of the combine window. Oh, and that was another hawk. Very cool. I also love seeing pheasants. We have seen lots of pheasants. Well, not lots. There's not too many in the area anymore, but I love seeing the baby pheasants also. I don't have a full grain tank notification yet, so I should be good to make it to the other side where I usually unload at. Each round I notice the skies become a bit more blue and the wind picks up. Oh, that actually looks like an owl. I'm swinging my auger out now, and then you always shut your header off right by the grain cart. I turn the grain on. It's filling up in this area, so I might have to move forward. I don't really want to move my auger back any further. Shut my grain off, let the rest fall out, fold my auger back. Uncle Chris drives away. Then I wait for him to go out a little bit so I don't hit him with my header. Now I'll line back up for my next pass. I'll stop my combine, idle it down, put the back in, put the header in, rabbit button, and start again. I'm getting out of the combine now because I have a rock on my cutter bar. I idled the machine down, put the parking brake on, I've got my glove on, and I'm going to take this rock off. Some rocks, you don't worry about. This is a rock that I don't want on here. Just because of its location, I'll show you here in a second. Oh, I should have lifted my reel up. So this is the rock. It was pretty big, and it was under my cutter bar there. And then when you get out, you always walk and look at your cutter bar to make sure none of the combine teeth are broken off, or the professional word would be sickle sections, and they all look good. So I'm going to toss this rock over here and head back in the combine before it pours on me. There's my dad in his combine. We are just finishing up this field. All we have left is this strip here, and it's not very wide, so we should finish it hopefully before the rain. My dad is finishing up the last of the field. It is a little too wet to cut, but we were almost done with this 300 acres, so he just wanted to get it finished. Now I'm at my grandpa's where we're having dinner, and I parked my car, so it's definitely pouring out. I am completely soaked. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe to learn more about how your food gets to your table. Also follow Kate's Egg on Instagram, KATES_AG, and on Facebook, Pinterest, TikTok, and everywhere else. You can also visit the Kate's Egg website, KATESAG.com, and purchase a Kate's Egg tote bag. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!